session today. In this session, we have 6 speakers. So we have to take care about the time frame of each presentation. The first speaker is Professor Muhammad Mukhtar. He's going to talk about catalysis in petrochemical industry. Professor Muhammad Mukhtar received his PhD from Cairo University in 1997. He was senior research fellow from JRE at the Institute of Chemical Engineering and Processing at Karlsruhe in 1998 and 1999. He was invited as a research fellow to the Surface Chemistry and Catalysis Department at Bonn University in Germany in 2003. He has excellent achievements and activities. He was professor of chemistry at National Research Center in 1999 and 280, and he is currently professor of physical chemistry and the chemistry department at the University. Alternative catalytic use for organic synthesis are prominent area of his research area. He focused in advanced material and heterogeneous catalysis. He is an associate editor at Frontier in Catalysis and advisor editor at Catalyst. He is a member at ACS, RSC, AAS, IOPAC, a member of the Energy Committee, Hydrocarbons Section, Ministry of Energy, Saudi Arabia. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair President Muzar. I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me today to present our talk. So, I would like to move directly to the, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Almost, I have to appreciate everything, I have to appreciate the audience. So I would like to be very precise in my presentation, reach all the audience who are interested in the field or out of it. I'll do my best. So, my talk today is about the catalysis in petrochemicals, which is a case study. So, we'll go through 3 points. What's catalysis shortly, petrochemicals, and how to merge between them in a case study which we had already done at the chemistry department in Labadin University. So, as Professor Mahmoud Zawra said, I'm originally from National Research Center, so I'm feeling home today. I would like to present something which is to be very related to the place where we originated and we learned from the beginning. So the catalysis in general, coming from it's science. I wouldn't say catalysis could be under physical chemistry, inorganic material science, physics. No, catalysis is a science. We find different applications to the chemical and energy products, chemicals and polymer productions, pollution control, pharmaceutical industries, and from every branch of these you could find catalysis. Catalysis is almost more than 90% in all the industries that we are using in the daily life. So, as the former who synthesized the ammonia from the beginning by the oxidation, also who said there is probably no chemical reaction which cannot be influenced catalytically. So no reaction couldn't force. If the reaction is thermodynamically possible, it will be catalytically possible to increase the speed of the reaction and reduce the time reducing and saving the energy. All these great professors, already this was the first of the industrial catalysis, all of them have Nobel Prize because they do the real breakthrough in science and in applications. So ammonia, which was very important for the synthesis, and the catalysts and the catalyst development, the processing in the energy and all the other fields. Second, the big picture for the petrochemicals themselves The petrochemicals itself, they defined as the chemicals that coming originally from petroleum, but I would say we have the raw material could be crude oil, which is petroleum, or natural gas, or coal, or even plant. The second step, which is the chemical process, from the crude oil, we are doing refining in order to obtain the feedstock, which is the naphtha. Then from the natural gas, in a processing to obtain some hydrocarbons, or by distillation to obtain the same gas, plant fermentation, called the methanol. So all the chemicals that coming from petroleum or other raw materials, they are considered to be petrochemicals. Here, we would like to say the feedstock itself could be like hydrocarbons, ethane, propane, or butane, or even heavy hydrocarbons, which is naphtha, going through the cracker, to have the basic chemicals that everyone needs in industry, like olefins, ethylene, propylene, butene, or aromatics, which is benzene, toluene, xylene, it's called BETX. So start the value chain. Here is the core of the industry. Here is Aramco, where is Aramco is there. Here is SAP, which is very important applications to how to make use of these chemicals. So I'm going now to the case study. And the case study is funded by SABIC. We already had this project and contract with SABIC company. I remember when we already negotiate about the fund for such a project, starting from 2 million already there, 3 million for other reactors and so on. And we came to about 1.2 million Saudi riyal just to start for proving the concept, just to prove the concept. So what's the story here? The story is non-conventional oxidative dehydrogenation of propane to propylene via certain catalysts. The issue is usually SABIC support international research activity towards the technology and development of the olefin-based material. This one point. Second point is, as a SABIC citizenship, supporting the Saudi universities also to grow in the research. But the project here was tailored to the preparation of propylene on purpose. What's meant by on purpose propylene? Usually propylene is coming as a side product from the petrochemicals during the cracking process. But the petrochemicals itself, which is coming from petroleum, doesn't exceed 5% only, because most of the petroleum is used as a source of energy. So imagine petroleum is going for energy, only 5% are producing the petrochemicals from, which is not enough. We have to find another way to prepare important products for the industry. So here, I would like to talk about the short alkane dehydrogenation via chemical looping process to prove the concept to do catalyst development. As I mentioned, here is the propylene along the ethylene constitute the backbone of the petrochemicals. Look at this pie, you can find that ethylene represents huge number of the important products coming from the petrochemicals. Here, all the chemicals, which is called petrochemicals, come from petroleum. The propylene represents almost 20% of the aim from this cake to produce, which is find very important applications in different fields in our daily life. Propylene is changing into polypropylene and go to many applications and productions. So the demand, the world demand of the chemicals, 5.7 megatons per year, in which ethylene and propylene represent 48%. So how important is to have such kind of materials? And as a business driving force, as I mentioned before, if you look at the blue here, this represents the steam crackers producing propylene, and the gray one represents the refinery processes. But here was very small, this dark blue representing in-purpose, I mean the other sources for producing of propylene, and the forecast for 2026 is to be increased to reach around the same value by the refinery, to be equal to the refinery, and by this way we could increase the production of the propylene. So what is the propylene in-purpose technology? We have to go through what are the methods of preparation of propylene from propane, not as the suggested steps. First, we could do that by dehydrogenation, simple dehydrogenation of the propane to propylene, and this is already, there are some pilot plants for producing this, but what are the problems of this step? It's thermodynamic limitations. It's highly endothermic process. When it's highly endothermic process, you need energy. You will increase, elevate the temperature of the process, and the catalyst, which is platinum, will freeze from centering. Grain growth of the particles, centering of the catalyst, fast deactivation of the process. In addition to that, which we are saying, endothermic, and you need more energy, it's not favorable for the industry. So the second possible step is oxidative dehydrogenation. Oxidative dehydrogenation, it means you will pass solid oxygen, or let us say soft oxygen, what's the difference? Oxygen pure, or any material containing oxygen that can reduce the material by removing the two hydrogen atoms from the propane. So oxidative dehydrogenation means when add to the flow or the stream oxygen or carbon oxides or nitrogen oxides in order to remove the hydrogen from the propane. Although this process thermodynamic limitations decreased due to the production of the water, and it's instead of endothermic, it's exothermic, which is also fine. Exothermic process doesn't means you will not use a lot of energy, but where is the problem exactly? The problem is we are adding in the stream oxygen or carbon monoxide or nitrogen oxides, and this, by the way, will make oxidation to the yield. You already converted propane to propylene, but at the end of the end product itself will not give a good yield, because part of this will be burned by the oxygen in the stream itself. So, from one point of view, it's helping, it's nice, but from the other point of view, you are obtaining very low yield of the product, the target of you. Now, we are coming by time. So how to think, we as a scientists, with this problem, how to think for finding a solution to such a process. Oxidative dehydrogenation allows a very good idea, but still we have a problem by the oxygen in the stream. So what about if we use the catalyst itself as a source of oxygen? Remove the oxygen from the lattice, make the reduction, then compensate the catalyst by another oxygen, take the oxygen again, and so on. So we don't have oxygen in the stream, we remove the hydrogen so easily. But this requires two important steps. You need a catalyst to be a reducer from one side, so you remove the propane, take the oxygen of the lattice, produce the propylene, then you have to compensate this catalyst by oxygen again to be ready for the next and next and next step. You need to study how labile oxygen you have, how it's easy to remove the oxygen of the lattice, but it's more difficult to compensate this oxygen again to the catalyst. What's the material? It's something like a magic material you need in order to make this story. Second point is the catalytic reactor itself, the design. What's the design that enables you to do this or to solve this problem? I would like to show you this. This is a propan going, taking the oxygen, convert to propylene, and then you need to return this oxygen again to the catalyst. So we have to think for the catalyst design. We have 2 points. One is the catalyst design itself, and second one is the catalytic system. So we have to think what's the good catalyst for doing that, and what are the catalytic system that we need to discuss. So for the catalyst design, I will talk shortly about this one. For the catalyst design itself, we have to think for 2 things. One thing is what is the active species that could be possible for doing this reaction, and what kind of support should have the oxygen storage capacity and oxygen in the pile in order to give us the oxygen during this oxidative dehydrogenation. So we need some 2 things to think about: the support and the active species itself. Before starting, and in order to save time, we have to go to theoretical calculations first. Otherwise, we'll use long period of time, trial and error, to spend time for nothing. So better to think for the DFT methods, for the theoretical calculations done by the people from our department who are very specific in doing such kind of calculations. We suggested the support according to the literature survey, according to our experience, in what will be the good support for this process. And zirconia have 3 different phases: monoclinic phase, tetragonal phase, and cubic phase. So which one could be easy to remove the oxygen from the lattice? According to the calculations, we removed the 1 oxygen from the surface, just the top surface, not the pulp of the zirconia, or going to the surface, taking 1 oxygen atom and see how much energy required. So we find that the tetragonal and the cubic phases are the most better phases for the zirconia instead of using the monoclinic. So we don't need to synthesize monoclinic, it's better to obtain the cubic zirconia or tetragonal zirconia in order to have a good support. Now what about the active species on the surface? According to the oxidative dehydrogenation, we are comparing our work to the people already did the oxidative dehydrogenation. What's the most active catalyst used? So they are using vanadium pentoxide or vanadium material. So again, the question: how does vanadium will be dispersed on the surface of the monoclinic zirconia? If we synthesize vanadium, what are the most probable speed? It will be spread on the surface, dispersed quite in a monolayer, or will be polymeric in nature. According to calculations, adding 1 vanadium atom, then the second one, third one starting to make polymerization on the surface. So we could expect the shape of the vanadium on the surface of the catalyst to be polymeric with the support of the cubic or monoclinic zirconia. Now we can go to the synthesis process. While using the precipitation, modified precipitation method, it's very tricky to control all the parameters to have the material in the nanoscale. Then make hydrothermal treatment under oxidative dehydrogenation process, filtration and calcination according to the thermal gravimetric analysis data. It's suitable for 500 to obtain the metal oxides you need. Here are some catalysts. We will talk about only the vanadium and zirconia, not going to the certeric as to this area in this presentation. For the petrochemical catalyst characterization, we need most important things to the porosity of the catalyst, the surface area, the reducing ability. The reducing ability, we need to reduce the surface, re-oxidize the surface. This cycle of temperature programmed reduction, temperature programmed oxidation in order to study if this material could be useful in the catalytic process or not. Of course, other important, like to investigate what is vanadium, because we use very, very small amount of vanadium, not huge amount, so probably some techniques are not helpful to detect what is vanadium, what is the shape. So we're using Raman, scanning electron microscope, transition electron microscope, and other characterization, move very fast. As I said, the most important thing here is to make hydrogen temperature program the reduction, to make reducing reduction to the metal oxide, then reoxidize it again and study the cycle between oxidation and reduction. Here is a characterization. As you see from the XRD measurements, there is no change in the phase of the zirconia. There is no any impurities of the vanadium because the maximum amount is 7% of vanadium. But in the diffuser fluorescence spectroscopy, you will find these peaks related to the polymerized VOX and confirmed by the Raman spectra itself, vanadium there. In XRD, we couldn't see much here in the Raman and diffuser fluorescence, we could see something about the vanadium itself. Again, this is very important for the hydrogen temperature program reduction. At the beginning, it's just the removal of the oxygen, hydrogen, and phase solvent issues. But here, by increasing the temperature, at low temperature, you will never reduce zirconia itself. Zirconia is very stable phase. It couldn't be reduced at very low temperature, but vanadium starts to be reduced. What kind of vanadium? The easily reduced species on the surface. But the particle vanadium itself needs higher temperature. So at high temperature, you could reduce the bulk vanadium. At low temperature, reduce the low or the weakly attracted ones. But zirconia itself, there is no any reduction for the bark material itself. So it's possible to make the reduction within these temperatures. So this will be the temperature where we could carry out the reaction, starting from 400, and as you go up, this is the possible temperature for the reaction of the oxidative dehydrogenation of the propan. Now going to the reactor. As I mentioned at the beginning, all the negotiations was about the fund. According to the fund, I could provide a suitable reactor, fixed bed catalytic reactor, which is we have already in our labs. So we don't need extra fund because the reactor is there. And this is the reactor is mentioned in this box here. Here we can control by the mass flow controllers, so buffering the gases, and here the output coming to the GC directly, so we can make in situ characterization of the products coming from the reaction. But fixed bed catalytic reactor means we could go that low fund. If we are thinking for a LISA simulator, which is fluorescence bed reactor, it will be very expensive, we need more money, we don't have this catalyst, this reactor. But the responsible technique, which is we have to think about in order to serve our idea from the beginning. The first preliminary results from using the fixed bed catalytic reactor at two different reaction temperatures, very low temperature, we couldn't find very low conversion percent and very high selectivity towards ethylene, which is not the purpose of the products. Increasing the temperature, yes, we have little bit the conversion stays the same, not high conversion, but the most important thing is the selectivity. Now the selectivity towards the production of the propylene is increased at 600 degrees centigrade. But the question is 600 degrees centigrade, is it suitable temperature for carrying out and providing the industry? Hey, we came by nice selectivity with very low conversion at 600 degrees centigrade. You have nothing. You have to think how to do this reaction at low temperature. So, studying the stability using the same fixed bed catalytic reactor, we find that the first cycle, second cycle, the catalyst is fastly deactivated unless we make reduction, then passing oxygen to reoxidize the catalyst, but it takes long period of time. Shortly, the fixed bed catalytic reactor, we are passing the gases. over the reactor, so it takes time until going to the GC, until you have the results, 20 minutes. You don't know during these 20 minutes what happened to the surface of the catalyst. And you need to oxidize it again and so on. So this process could be changed into another nice idea. And this nice idea came from the machine that we have already in the lab for measurement of temperature program reduction, temperature program oxidation. What about this system? We can reduce and oxidize again using this system. The only thing is missing is the analysis unit. So we can connect this system, which is temperature program reduction oxidation, which is called immersion, name it as you like the name, 10 3000, whatever, with mass spectrometer, and try to follow up the product by this simple technique. So this technique will do the following. Here, passing propane, controlling it by valve. So you have pulse, transient pulse. You give only 3 milli by opening this valve, close this valve. And this propane will pass to the reactor. Here is a catalyst. Reaction takes place at a certain temperature, and the product are coming to the mass spectrometry directly. Then you rewash the stream by helium, or the catalyst by helium, repeat the experiment again and again and again until you remove all the oxygen from the surface. Every time you are doing pulse, following up what's going on, and then at the end of the story you can pass oxygen to reoxidize your catalyst, then rewash, so you have the oxide form now and repeating this experiment. It's called transient pulse or loop technique. Now the product is going to the MS. You need to differentiate between the different components, so you have to follow up exactly what are the product that you have. And this is a modified system in our lab for the first time worldwide. So company itself doesn't know that their machine now is going to be a catalytic loop reactor for the first time. First of all, we have to study the thermal cracking without catalyst. We're putting just glass plates and passing all such issues, passing the propane, pulse of propane on the glass plates. No catalyst at all, just to study if there is thermal cracking without catalyst or what's going on. So we could find at 400 there is no thermal cracking at all. But 500, 600, 700 we have certain percent of conversion and selectivity towards the propylene and ethylene as well. So we have to use the suitable temperature to be 400 degrees centigrade. There is no thermal catalytic cracking, only catalytic cracking now. So at this temperature, we could find very good conversion, very high selectivity towards the propylene production. Of course, you have some selectivity for ethylene, but at high temperature, we doesn't care because we are concentrating at the temperature where there is no thermal cracking at all. By this way, we already convinced the company by the proof of the concept. They sent students to learn. They came many times to be sure if we are right or we are cheating or whatever. They came because they are paying money. They're interested to understand. How many groups are working in this project now? Group in the United States of America, at KAUST, at CERDIC, at King Abdulaziz University, but we are the mentor for all these groups because it's our own idea, and now we are going to expand this idea. And this is a very big discussion for what's possible. According to during our work, there are other people or other groups working at the same time, not by using the loop reactor, by other reactors, but we can understand from the explanation why the activation takes place when they are using alone as support and vanadium due to the formation of the torque, and this torque formed due to the presence of trivalent vanadium. So Our aim is to control this oxidation state by adding hydroxyl group, so this hydroxyl group will convert the trivalent vanadium, which is very active and causing this rock formation, into non-rock formation catalyst. This is one of the idea, but I have to tell you the truth. The rare catalyst never to be presented in conferences. What is the advantage? What we have already now, in reality, we don't have the chance to tell the others. We have very strict confidential contracts with the company because all such things are going to the patents, especially if we succeed to do that and we need to scale up the process itself. At the end of the story, I would like to show you this photo. It's always the emotional thing in the story. Here is a surface chemistry catalysis department here at the National Research Center. These are all pictures, starting from my professor, my supervisor, Professor Dr. Jamil Al-Shabaki, at the head of the physical chemistry department. This is Dr. Badia Salama Gadis, and Dr. Magdi, and Dr. Muhammad Salim, my second supervisor, Professor Dr. Ismail Namrawi, and all the Dr. Hudat, and all of my colleagues. So I would like to send for them.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for excellent lecture. Also, we have time for only one comment if you have.